Telangana Rashtra Samiti formation and its first electoral victory, that is in the local bodies, has inspired the Telangana society and the party and the people who are behind it. Because within short time, they garnered the support of the people in terms of votes, in terms of the expression of the people's intention or people's demand of Telangana. So this has created a very good impact in the beginning. This is it's a very good beginning for TRS. So what has happened? Once you are a political party, you are into the people's court, your activities are in the society, everyone can see. Now two things are must. One is the gains of the party in terms of the victories or in terms of mass mobilization has to be consolidated into a party. A party should be strong organizationally so that there will be no problems, no different opinions or feeble voices, and it will hamper the agitation. Second thing is you should do continuous activities, taking up the issues of the people. It is not just one thing, that is elections. If you say we want elections, so we vote for us, then we will get Telangana, this mantra will not work. So what will happen? People will get vexed up, you are begging for mantras, votes. So you have to take up the issues of the people regularly, every time, every day. You should be part of the people's life. Then only the agitation of Telangana will sustain. So in this background, we have to see how Telangana party, that is TRS, is getting consolidated. TRS organized a meeting for the cadres in Sri Ram Sagar project area, and for a few days people were taught the basics of TRS ideology. And at this point of time, when people are completely engaged in their consolidation of the party ideologically, and Chandrababu Naidu government has unleashed the tactics of harassment onto TRS, because he could see TRS is gaining power day by day and people are joining TRS. When KCR and other people are inviting the colleagues, ex-colleagues in TDP or some people in Congress, those who are for Telangana, everyone is gradually looking towards TRS. So Chandrababu Naidu has unleashed the terror tactics or the high-handedness, you can say, that is attack on Jaladrishyam. Jaladrishyam originally the place of Kondalakshmana Bapuji. It's a place which is in litigation. Actually, someone who was there, whose original property of a Muslim Nawabi property, and that person gave part of it to Kondalakshmana Bapuji for his, as a fee or as a remuneration for the legal activities, and Kondalakshmana Bapuji was there, and still the process or the property was under litigation, and without giving a notice and everything, the government has sent police, attacked the Jaladrishyam office, that residence, and evacuated the TRS office, thrown everything out, and without any notice they are taking the revenge for the initiation of political party and getting what you call, giving a blow to TDP's what you call pride in the local bodies in Telangana region. So in this background, Jaladrishyam, attack on Jaladrishyam, and the first, within few months you won victories, at the same time you are under the ire of the government, you are under the target, you are on the radar of the government for attack. At this point of time, TRS is taking up issues like the people's issues. Telangana, see, important issues are employment, people's farmers' plights, weavers' plights, irrigation issues, and these things. In March 2002, they have taken Nagarjun Sagar lift irrigations issues related to lift. People should get water in the left bank canal. See, we don't get in the left canal Nagarjun Sagar. Every time you get water into right canal, and left canal is always dry. So the issues of left canal. Then seeing the plight of the weavers, suicides, they are committing suicides. So TRS organized a Bhikshatana, begging to highlight the issue of peasantry, weavers. They went for begging, collected money, and at Bhudan Pochampalli Weavers Colony, TRS leaders gave 50,000 per the deceased families. So, thus they were highlighting the weavers' issues in Telangana. And Pallebata. Pallebata is another type of program, another interesting program where this is a mass orientation. TRS will go into the masses, go to villages and live there, sleep there, or organize meetings and take the ideology of TRS into the villages. This Pallebata was organized between September and October 2002. And at Bhupalapalli, they have organized a meeting in the name of New Power Project Demand. So, New Power Project, why? Because again, water and power, these are the two important things we discussed during the Telangana movement in the last phase. But an important movement we have to talk about is Jala Sadhana Ujjamam. Jala Sadhana means achieving the rights over the water. Telangana has two great rivers, Krishna and Godavari, enters into Telangana first, then Andhra Pradesh. And many rivers or the rivulets or the streams, Telangana like Manjira, Musi, major rivulets. You can see tributaries of Godavari and Krishna. Manjira for Godavari, Krishna is for, Musi is for Krishna. This Manjira, Godavari, Musi, Krishna, and you don't have water in Telangana. So, Jala Sadhana Ujjamam started from 25th December 2002, continued till 6th January 2003. It's a very important campaign. In this, it is not just a political activity, it's an intellectual activity, it's a technical activity, it's run, or its core is by the people who know the trade, who knows the technique, who knows the real thing happening. All the retired engineers like R. Vidyasagar Rao, a great man who was completely into Telangana movement with one cause, that is water issues. He was an authority on water issues and discrimination of Telangana in river water sharing. So, R. Vidyasagar Rao, Devarupula Bhimaya, Prabhakar, Shama Prasad Reddy, all these people played key role in this Jala Sadhana Ujjamam. They were giving inputs to TRS, how Telangana is being discriminated, how they have been, how we have been deceived in water share. All these things. Definitely, when you are sound, when you are arguing something, you should know the nitty-gritty or minutest details of it. You should be able to talk about how the things are getting manipulated by the Andhra ruling class. All these things were discussed thoroughly with the engineers and they were in the movement. So, this Ujjamam, this movement for water culminated on 6th January 2003 at Parade Ground, a huge gathering with some guests from outside like Ram Vilas Paswan and Shibu Soren. These are the political leaders. Ram Vilas Paswan, a national leader, a Dalit leader from Bihar, into national politics, influencing to some extent the national coalitions or alliances. And second one, Shibu Soren, a Jharkhand Mukti Morcha leader. And third leader, very important, this leader, I would like to stress upon another leader who is not a political leader in a traditional way, but she is a leader of the masses in one of the mass people's movement in the recent times, that is Narmada Bachao Andolan, Medha Patkar. Medha Patkar, who was running an agitation, who was leading an agitation for the against the displacement of the people in the Narmada Valley, the tribals and rural people, lakhs of people getting displaced. Medha Patkar, she attended this meeting, Jala Sadhana Ujjamam. Means you can see, now it is not just a political party for Telangana demand and KCR is uniting them. It is different types of people are coming from outside Telangana and impacting Telangana and taking the message of Telangana outside. That is the important thing. In this process, many people joined in TRS. Merger of Telangana Sadhana Samiti. Telangana Sadhana Samiti was started by Ale Narendra, came out of BJP because he was not satisfied with the efforts of BJP for Telangana. So he, along with his followers, many of the second level leaders, came out and started Telangana Sadhana Samiti before. And when TRS is formed, with the initiative of Jayashankar and many others, discussions were held between KCR and Ale Narendra. And Telangana Sadhana Samiti merged with TRS in 11th August 2002. And in the entire process, you can see many people, many who and who of Telangana society, important political leaders like G. Vijay Rama Rao, Nayan Narasimha Reddy, K.S. Ratnam, Singret Niranjan Reddy, Captain Lakshmikant Rao, Vinod Kumar, everyone joining TRS as part of TRS. Now their address is TRS. Boyanapalli Vinod Kumar was in CPI, now joining TRS as a TRS activist and continued till date. So we can see the people coming from different political streams and joining TRS. And now KCR strategy or TRS strategy or Jaishankar strategy, whatever you call, is not stopping at the local level or stational level, making the impact at the national level too, taking Telangana issue to the national platforms, participation in the meetings outside. When Ramvilas Paswan has sent an invitation to KCR to participate in his rally, which was being organized in March 2003 at Ramlila Maidan, KCR went in a rally. From Hyderabad, he went in a rally in cars, huge caravan. And en route, he was traveling via Vidarbha. Cross your North Telangana, you are going to Vidarbha. Again, there is a demand for the separate state. Cross it, you reach Bundelkhand, where you have a demand for separate state, and then go to Delhi. So he was going through the places where a demand for separate state is there. The sentiment is there. People are ready there for separate state. So en route, he was looking at the aspects of the separate state. And in Delhi, Ramvilas Paswan met Ramvilas Paswan, spoke and took the agenda of Telangana onto the stage and met with Ajit Singh, who is for the Harit Pradesh demand. And again, coming back, not by air, but he came again the same route in cars. En route, again back, he met Professor Babulal Tiwari, who was the leader of Bundelkhand movement, Banwarlal Purohit, who was the leader or one of the leader of Vidarbha movement, Vidarbha demand. So the ground is being prepared for a national platform for new states. Meeting all these people means bringing the people who are having the demand of separate state together. So in this background, again, on 27th April 2003, the second anniversary of TRS was being observed, celebrated. And the title of the meeting, you can see every meeting has a title, like Simhagarjana Sabha, Atmagaura Sabha, Sadhana Sabha, like that. Now this meeting is known as Warangal Jaitra Yatra. TRS second anniversary, Warangal Jaitra Yatra. What do you mean by Jaitra Yatra? It is the victory march. When the movement is starting and again going into the next phase, we call it as Jaitra Yatra. We have seen this Jaitra Yatra in another chapter of Telangana movement, Jagityala Jaitra Yatra. We talked about Jagityala Jaitra Yatra when the Naxalite movement has entered into the grassroots and organized the villages against feudalism and organizing a huge public rally in Jagityala in 1978. That is Jagityala Jaitra Yatra. And this is Warangal Jaitra Yatra. We see many similarities in Naxalite movement and TRS movement, because I am clearly saying that as a social science researcher, we should know the ideological background of the activists. Most of the activists are coming from the democratic or left movements. When you have the lineage or the heritage or the legacy of the left or democratic movements, definitely the forms of struggle or names you can see. That is what I am trying to assert on this place. So it is Warangal Jaitra Yatra. Ex-PM Devegowda attended this Warangal Jaitra Yatra. Ajit Singh, Professor Babulal Tiwari, Banwarlal Purohit, all these were guests. And as this part, next is National Front for New States was formed. On 9th September 2003, a national seminar was organized in Delhi, and there Ajit Singh, Banwarlal Purohit, that is Vidarbha, Babulal Tiwari and Raja Bundela representing Bundelkhand movement, Shibu Soren, Jharkhand attended. And by this time, Shibu Soren, Jharkhand is a reality. So the inspiration is there. At the same time, these leaders are discussing about the formation of new states. KCR was elected as the convener of the new formation. So this is the first platform for the new states. Then it is again talking about the agitations here. There were many agitations, mass movements and agitations in this period, like Rajolibanda Padayatra. At Rajolibanda, the borders of Mahbub Nagar, Kurnool peasantry, Rayalaseema people were forcibly taking the water from this Rajolibanda diversion scheme region. So, breaking the pipes and diverting the waters to Rayalaseema, that is Kurnool. And these things are very bad in this region. So, Rajolibanda Padayatra, May 23, 2003, issues of farmers of Nagarjuna Sagar left canal, then Kolhapur, Kolahalam and Nagar Kurnool Nagada, or Nagara to strengthen in Palamuru, because in South Telangana there is some weakness still for TRS. So all these things. Apart from this, next, about the employees issue, agitation for the implementation of 610 GO. 610 GO dates back to NT Ramarao period. NT Ramarao issued the 610 GO, but it was not implemented. Again, a committee was appointed known as Girglani Committee. Girglani Committee also said that there are many violations, send back the people from there to their original states, original places, and appoint the locals, that is Telanganites. But it is not also getting implemented. In this background, agitation for 610 GO is happening. There was a house committee appointed after Girglani Committee report, and there was a discussion or debate about free zone. Hyderabad is gradually, these people are making it as a free zone. Thus, KCR was discussing before the house committee against this free zone. Free zone issue in the last point of this class we'll be talking about, that is 14F and all those things. You can see the beginning of free zone issue here. Then cultural activities, cultural aspect of discrimination. Pushkaralu, whenever you have Pushkaralu, very, very, very blatant discrimination. Andhra ruling class had Pushkaralu or celebration of Pushkaralu every time in Andhra only. Godavari enters into Telangana, Krishna enters in Telangana, and a huge length they are running in Telangana, but Pushkar Ghat or Pushkaral are not being celebrated in Telangana. If Godavari Pushkaralu, you go to Rajahmundry. If Krishna Pushkaralu, you go to Vijayawada. Is it not the river which is in Telangana? Is it not Krishna which is in Telangana? Is it not Godavari which is in Telangana? This is what KCR has asked. This is what KCR has brought into the debate. TRS has brought the debate into this, discriminating even the religious activities. And now you can see with the force, gradually Pushkaralu are being celebrated in Telangana too, by constructing the Pushkar Ghats officially by the government. So these are the things happening. And come the interesting twist or turn in the history of TRS. In 2004 elections, TRS is gaining power. In 2004 elections to the states. Now TRS, in the last Warangal meeting, the strength of the TRS or Hyderabad meeting, the show of TRS could be seen, could be felt from Delhi. Sonia Gandhi was serious about the alliance with TRS to get Congress back into power, because for a long time Congress is out of power in Telangana, in Andhra Pradesh. So TRS attracted, and Sonia sent her emissary Azad for alliance. And finally, after a lot of deliberations, KCR or TRS or Jayashankar's argument is only one thing: bring Telangana into the agenda. If Congress is ready to take up the agenda of Telangana, they are ready to go or forge alliance with Congress. So Congress manifesto also brought in the statement, Congress will respect the opinion expressed in States Reorganization Commission. What was the opinion expressed in States Reorganization Commission? It was to have Hyderabad separately till Hyderabad accepts, or the 2/3 of MLA accept after 60s. So this was the opinion. So essence of SRC opinion is Telangana as a separate entity. So not completely satisfying, but as compulsion into elections, TRS accepted this statement, and finally they went into alliance. TRS, CPM, CPI with Congress. This alliance could get the seats. They captured power from Chandrababu Naidu, that is Telugu Desam Party. TRS was allocated 42 assembly seats and 6 Lok Sabha seats. Out of it, 26 assembly seats were won and 5 Lok Sabha seats were won. KCR and Narendra joined the Union Cabinet, and 6 TRS MLAs joined YSR Ministry, YS Rajshekar Reddy Ministry, Congress Ministry. First time TRS started in 2001, becoming a political party in power in 2004, 3 years. In 3 years, it could make a dent in the political understanding of the established ruling parties. People with Telangana demand came to power. That is what we have to understand here. So, in the center, Telangana demand was included into the common minimum program of UPA. President Abdul Kalam reiterated, or he read out a statement saying Telangana will be formed at an appropriate time. after proper consultations and consensus. So this is first time in the parliament a statement is being made in favor of Telangana. This is the first achievement constitutionally we can say. So 2004 parliament is witnessing the statement about Telangana, which was not done in the past 4 decades. That is the first achievement as a political party. Then Y.S. Rajshekar Reddy, who is there as chief minister, was the hurdle. He misrepresented or misinterpreted the word consensus. Consensus does not mean that everyone on the face of earth should accept it. Majority are ready for it. That is consensus. But misrepresenting or misinterpreting the word consensus, he was creating hurdles. So, though they joined the coalition, ruling coalition at the center and the state, TRS was still pitching, was still striving for the political process to create Telangana. But there is a hurdle in the form of Rajshekar Reddy. So finally, Congress in the center has this is the first step actually. There should be a committee to look into the matter. A subcommittee was formed to look into the demand of Telangana. That is, Pranab Mukherjee committee was formed in March 2005. And that committee, after dilly-dallying, lot of debate, lot of delayed tactics, finally they were taking the opinions from the political parties whether they are in favor of Telangana or against Telangana. So when they calculated in one of the articles, Mallepalli Rajam's trust, that is memorial meeting published, or a meeting was organized in which Professor Jayashankar was talking in the last phase. In that book he says 440 MPs were in support of Telangana in the parliament. It is more than enough. But still there are hurdles for Telangana formation because the Andhra ruling class, which is representing as the chief minister, that is YSR, was against it. So finally, vexed with the delay, vexed with the non-implementation of the promise in common minimum program and all those things, TRS party withdrew from UPA. Not only this, YSR was making creating some problems, like there is a proverb in Telugu that is Pommanu leka pogobettadam. Means if you want to push out a person from your house, you create many problems, you create many hurdles, you create something where you need not say go out of my home, but you will say you push away. So anti-Telangana policies of YSR in the state was one important aspect for coming out of the thing. Then talks with Naxalites discontinued, again repression in Telangana grew, and TRS ministers in the state resigned from the party, from the government, from the cabinet. There were 6 ministers, Harish Rao, Vijay Ramarao, all these people were ministers. These people resigned from the cabinet, and so now again going on an agitational path. On 17 July in Warangal, they held a huge public meeting to explain why they came out of government, because they asked for votes to go into the government and make the Telangana dream a reality. Now they are out of the government, so you have to explain the people. So TRS organized a meeting which was attended by Sharad Pawar, and he said he was hopeful of Telangana formation. So, but it did not happen. Again, in the center also, 23rd August 2006, KCR and Narendra resigned from cabinet, and he resigned from the cabinet, not only from cabinet, for the MP seat also, because they were talking as a referendum. YSR said, go again into elections and you will see you will lose. That will be the referendum for Telangana. KCR took the challenge and again went into elections. KCR contested from Karimnagar and wins with a huge margin, huge majority, 2 lakh plus votes. So what is a referendum? If you have to accept the defeat, YSR should accept that the referendum is for Telangana. But he didn't. So he continued his tirade against it. So in October 2006, Siddipet Samara Shankaravam was organized. 2006, Nallagunda Telangana Atmagaura Sabha was organized. So in this series, you can see many activities like Telangana Samburalu held in 2007 March, Nalgonda Nagara April 2007. In this Nalgonda Nagara, very important, in Nalgonda you have a huge problem of fluorosis, and KCR took up the issue of fluorosis and made it as a public agenda. Already some people are working on it, but still making a political agenda. So KCR toured fluoride affected areas, and implementation of, again, another movement for the implementation of Sachar committee report for minorities, Singareni coal workers issue against open cast mining, and Singareni Bogugari Karmika Samakhya was formed in 2004, Vidyarthi Garjana in 2007. All these things are the political activities, mass activities. And in 2008, since nothing is happening, KCR tried to force elections again, saying that we are ready to go back to the people's court and we will ask the people to re-elect us and show that Telangana is a reality. But this time, the strategy could not work. The by-elections was won by the ruling class, that is ruling party, and the strategy failed, and KCR won with a less majority from Karimnagar, and many of the MLAs, sitting MLAs, lost the seats. So almost 8 people lost the seats, only 10 people got re-elected, like that. So there is a setback in the Telangana movement in TRS. Next comes 2009 elections. This is very important. Mahakutami was organized, constituted by TRS, TDP, CPI, CPM. TDP, first time it is taking up the mantra of Telangana. TDP stand changed because of the compulsion. Telangana is completely different. Talli Telangana party, which was merged with TRS in this period. Vijay Shanti was the leader of Talli Telangana party. She merged Talli Telangana party into TRS. Nava Telangana was merged in Prajarajyam party. And the realignments are happening in Telangana, you can see. On one side, Congress-led ruling class is there. Congress is there. And on the other side, you have Mahakutami, TRS, TDP, CPI, CPM. And Congress is gone, TDP entered. First time TDP is talking about Telangana. Chandrababu wore the pink kanduva and saying Jai Telangana. So thus TRS could successfully make the agenda of Telangana the agenda of all the people, even the opponents. That is very important in the elections. So in Telangana, all the political parties included Telangana achievement as in its manifestos, but the elections of 2009 is a setback again. Why? Because Prajarajyam played the spoil sport. They have divided the anti-incumbency votes and Mahakumbhatami lost. And at times you can see even the TDP vote share completely not shifted to TRS. So TRS also lost very badly. Only 10 assembly seats were won in these elections. Thus 2009 elections is again the lowest point in the history of TRS. Post 2009 elections, for a few months there was turbulent times inside TRS because Operation Akarsh, this is a popular word for the shameless act of getting the people from other parties. This Operation Akarsh was launched by Y.S. Rajshekhar Reddy, and some people were taken into Congress, and thus this turbulent times, a few months, but with the accident of Rajshekhar Reddy's helicopter, there was a complete seesaw change in the political scenario in the state. And finally, September 2nd, Rajshekhar Reddy's death in the helicopter accident. October 2nd, Kurnool floods, and Roshaya became the chief minister after September 2nd. So from September 2nd to December, there were the serious turn of events, speedy turn of events, and finally, the Supreme Court verdict on 14F, that is, Hyderabad becoming the local zone, and police employment or many employments in the Hyderabad is becoming open, and employees got dejected with this. Telangana employees opposed it, TRS opposed it. They have organized Siddipeta Garjana Sabha. Employees organized Siddipeta Garjana Sabha, and culminating finally into KCR's fast unto death. And fast unto death, we will be discussing these activities and this phase in the next class. So KCR's fast unto death and finally Chidambaram's declaration on 9th December. And 9th December declaration was the first step in the formation of Telangana. Though short-lived, it has again boosted our spirits, but very short-lived. Immediately with the crisis created by Andhra rulers, Andhra ruling class, again it was taken back on 23rd, again going into the what you call limbo, going again into the delay tactics. So finally TRS led the JAC, Joint Action Committee was formed, and TRS is an important constituent in the JAC, that is Joint Action Committee of Telangana, political JAC we call it as. So 2009 to 2014 is a history of TRS in JAC, history of JAC along with TRS. So the last phase of the movement we will be discussing in the other chapter, waves of agitations, different bigger phases, finally culminating into Telangana formation. This is the story, this is the activities of TRS in this phase. To conclude, how do you conclude the whole period? TRS history should be concluded like this, like combination of mass movement with political activity by influencing the parliament. This is the strategy of Jaishankar. TRS played the role of a political party with a change of tactics based on the situation. Whenever there is a change of situation, TRS changes its tactics. The next, TRS throughout of its 10 years of initial journey focused on agitations to pressurize and lobby for the Telangana formation at the center. Pressurizing and lobbying, this is the main weapon TRS was saying. KCR clearly said lobbying is my weapon. So last, KCR's charismatic leadership could inspire masses and strengthen the party. So inspiring the agitation on one side, strengthening the party on one side. These things are the major what you call characteristics of TRS till this phase, that is till 2009. In the next class, we will be talking about the intensified agitation and the last phase of the movement, different forms and all those things culminating into the dream of Telangana becoming a reality.